All right. Back at it again with another episode of Young Justice Review. This time we'll be doing 17 and 18. But first, we're going to be looking at 17 first impressions. So it's official, folks. We have The Outsiders, and the name is already out there. Garfield just said it. And here we are. The team is now officially set. They set themselves up so that this way they can be a front-facing league, part of the league, if you will. So they're coming out, they're doing what they need to do from a PR standpoint, from an in-person standpoint, but also kind of working covertly, working in the background as well. Led by Garfield. It's got Blue Beetle's back in, so that's cool, from season 2 to season 3. And the basic premise of this episode is kind of just the establishment of the team, and then they have their first fight kind of together, kind of like how season 1, when the team officially got their first fight and they didn't do so well, but they had to learn from each other. Here they're kind of seasoned a little bit, so it's kind of cool from season 1 to season 3 how teams, when they come together, they're kind of established, led by Garfield, and now they're the Outsiders, which I think is pretty cool. Little do we know that Aquaman, I was about to call him Aqualad. He's still Aqualad to me, though. But Aqualad kind of helped set up a little thing, so this way they can kind of get the names out there. They can kind of get that team out there, and then eventually it's bestowed to Outsiders. Get that name out there, so a little help from them, not too bad. We also established the fact that they have a new headquarters, man, so this is great. Even though I personally will always miss Mount Justice, they have a new headquarters, and it's Garfield's apartment too, which is looked mad dope. And they have a little button and everything. They have a place, basically it's a place to crash, pun intended and also not intended. Place to crash, get the mission briefings, and kind of just hang out. That scientist lady is now the den mother, so that's going to establish that plot point some more, because she has always been trying to get close, and no one is really sniffing on her scent, so she's kind of been able to get away with it, which is understandable. I never trusted her. I never will trust her. I don't know her, and she's cutting hair, taking hair out of the comb with tweezers, bro. That's some crazy shit. That's some creepy shit too. That's psycho stuff, and that's what she's doing. This is why I don't trust her. And then basically it ends with the fact that we now have this team set up. Their fight was plastered all over the internet, and this is why a show like this can kind of cater to multiple generations. At least like the generation right now, a little bit after, and then the generation before, because they're aware of what this is and they have the most experience with this sort of social media aspect. So that's basically what this episode is trying to establish, is that there's a social media presence to this, there's a PR aspect to this, and also Garfield is now in his power, coming through, becoming basically a leader, Even though at one point towards the end, Aquaman, I'll call him Aqualad. Aqualad was like, should we not have Garfield on here? And McGann was like, okay, well, we're not going to really do that right now. Also, Violet's not on the team. Tara's still texting someone. She puts the kid to bed and texts. That's creepy too. Like, come on, girl, what are you doing? And then she was getting flashbacks, so you can see kind of what's going on. And that's pretty much first impressions. We get the first impression of the team, and then officially, Young Justice Outsiders is now official as of this episode. All right, stay tuned. Coming up, episode 18. And we are back with another episode. Another one. This time, episode 18, Early Warning. This one was kind of cool. The fight at the end, kind of with Zatanna and Clarion, kind of falls a little flat. But everything else was kind of pretty decent in this episode. Moved a few things along, which I thought was pretty cool. Main points about this one were we find new metahumans. Clarion was torturing them. We get like a new aqua person. Violet is told by the lady who plucks hairs from combs. Every time she uses a power, she's dying. So her and Harper, whatever the hell her name is, they go out and de-stress. They kiss. I didn't understand. I get it. So they kiss, and then we see Harper and Violet skip. Violet was supposed to go to training with Tigress, with Artemis and Fred and Tara. Turns out it's just Terra and Artemis. So they kind of try fight a little bit. You see a bit more about Terra's like life and stuff like that. She was being traded by Deathstroke. Mr. Slade. Tigress told her, she's like, oh, by the way, yeah, I could tell that when you were fighting, you had some training because you look like you got something. So we had that kind of happen. We have the Violet saying that she's gonna die. So because of that, she's kind of acting out and didn't go to training. Instead, hung out with Harper. They kiss. They shoot guns. Alcohol. Kids, trust me. Alcohol and guns do not mix. Violet learns it the easy way. There could be a very hard way. And then we get Clarion kind of in this too. He's back. Funny thing at the end, he gets stuck in the tower. I forget the name. And at the end, he's kind of like, "Are we still in the tower?" So him and Tico get stuck. But basically, he creates this monster because he's torturing metahuman teens, and he puts their like essences, if you will, into the monster, and it creates this big monster. Zatanna comes back. And she does her business. She does what she needs to do. Always amazing, Zatanna, to see her. She's a leaguer. You know, I noticed also Aqua Lad, he takes sort of like a dad type role. Not a mentor type role, but a dad type role in the last two, in 17 and 18, which I thought was pretty interesting. And he kind of sees how things kind of go about. And then also we have that outsider stuff. It's kind of the fallout from the last episode. We get the first impressions, now we get an early warning. So I kind of find it interesting. It's one right after the other. The team is now kind of set and they're doing things. Things seem to be consistent. Also, what's cool, Static Shock's in this Virgil Static Shock. He's in the episode and he's part of the team, which I thought is pretty nice. And it kind of moves us a little bit from the Markovia stuff, which was a little bit boring. So we get the next session of the Outsiders. We get more metahumans in Cuba because they speak Spanish and they're in Cuba. So Zatanna has a glamour charm on. So this way, she's in Cuba and she won't be seen because Justice Leaguers are not allowed in Cuba, which is very interesting. Can't go. You need to sign a special form or answer a special questionnaire. I wonder if she had to do that. Zatanna. She probably didn't because she could just leave. So we have a little Clarion fight. Honestly, the fight, how it ends, was a little anticlimactic. Everything else was pretty solid. I didn't even rate the last episode, but the last episode I'll give it like 8.5. This one I give like a 8. Although probably a little bit better of an episode. The one before kind of had a bit more oomph. This is kind of like a bunch of little things that kind of happen at once. Oh, and that dude, the one that like transports, he has Nightcrawler powers. He's like, I want to join the Outsiders because he lists the things that most of the Outsiders have. So the youth center in Taos, they can see that there is a metahuman who's on the team, someone that's recognizable. So this way they don't have to feel alone. It's like that Michael Jackson song. So overall, 8.5, and then this episode an 8. Good episodes though, solid episodes. We're almost done with the season. And it's just me right now for the last 3 episodes too, which is pretty cool. Let's see how long that goes. Alright folks, I'm out this bitch. Peace.